I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, the Arakwal people of the Bundjalung Nation, and pay my respects to the elders past, present, and emerging.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Human Design Podcast with me, your host, Emma Dunwoody. I'm a qualified master coach and human behaviour specialist, as well as being a qualified human design coach. And I work with clients every single day to answer the big questions. Who am I? Why am I here? And what is my purpose? I also assist them to transition from the person they think they should be to the person they really are on the inside. I teach people how to actually live their design instead of just knowing it. And if this is something that you want to do too, well, stay tuned or reach out for private coaching or Human Design Unpacks, where I show you exactly how to live your design.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. Oh my goodness, I'm excited to share today's guest, Sandy Forster, with you. She is another Aussie. She is a 6'3" emotional manifestor, and a couple of the people that I've followed for many, many years actually worked with her. She coached them. So I was so super excited to have her on the podcast and hear a great story about the role she played with bringing the movie The Secret to Australia, which is so freaking cool. Sandy Forster is the money mindset mentor for women worldwide who are ready to experience more abundance, prosperity, and money in their life. Sandy went from welfare to millionaire and was featured in Oprah's Aussie Secret, and loves inspiring and empowering women to break through their blocks, attract abundance, and experience time and money freedom to do the things that make their hearts sing. Her award-winning international bestseller, How to Be Wildly Wealthy Fast, has been translated into over 11 languages and banned actually to over 1.4 billion people because it was too empowering. Oh my goodness, I wish I'd read that before I interviewed her. I'd have to ask more about it. She's the host of the Wildly Wealthy Women podcast and has transformed hundreds of thousands of women's lives around the world. I trust that you will enjoy this conversation with the amazing Sandy Forster, an incredible emotional manifestor who really is inspiring millions of people into action. I hope you enjoy the episode.
Yes, The Secret teaches you how to think and how to feel, but the thing that's missing is you've got to take action. So you've got to align body, mind, and spirit. You've got to align your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And when you do that, that's when the magic happens, when it's all in alignment. And I think the missing piece for most people is the taking action. I think they can, om around on the couch, imagining the money in their lap and it's just going to appear, but it doesn't work like that.
I am really excited to share today's guest because I feel like this is a name that's actually been in my world for a really, really long time, because I'm a diehard fan of one of your clients. And of course, she bangs on about you all the time. So I'm so excited to actually chat to you. Sandy Forster, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm dying to hear who's banging on about me.
Oh my God. Well, it's Denise Duffield-Thomas,
yes,
of course, but I also follow Sarah Forster. So when
Sarah Prout.
Exactly. I don't mean Sarah Forster. I mean Sarah Prout.
Yes.
So when I saw that, and from the frame of human design, because you're a manifestor, I'm like, wow, like you really are out in the world inspiring some pretty awesome humans into manifesting action. So exciting. Do you know much about human design before we dive in?
I know a little bit, not enough to be, knowledgeable.
Oh, I love it. Well, that's cool because I'm going to geek out on your design as we chat. And for the listeners, before we learn a little bit more about you, I just want to let the listeners know that, Sandy, you are a 6'3" emotional manifestor, cross of separation, which I just think is priceless because it's really all about separating from old belief systems and creating new ones. So hashtag in alignment. So before we get into all of that, I would love you just to introduce yourself to the audience. Like, what is Wildly Wealthy? Who is Sandy Forster? And anything else you think is important for us to know about you?
Okie dokie. So, okay, Wildly Wealthy. That all came about because Let me go right back. So I met a boy in high school. We went out for 11 years, got married. I had 2 kids. And when my youngest was 6 months old, my husband and I split up. So suddenly I had to turn what at the time was a hobby business. I was designing and manufacturing swim and gym wear, had to turn that into an actual money-making business, which did not work. And I ended up $100,000 in debt and on welfare. And at the time, welfare was, so in US dollars, it was $7,500. In Australian dollars, it was $15,000 a year. That's a year.
Oh my goodness.
Not a good place to be.
How did you survive?
You didn't. You just go backwards every single day. It was just ridiculous. So I just, I was really kind of, I guess, stressed. I was a mum. So I always say I was a crummy mummy because I was frustrated. I was angry. I was scared. I was all the negative emotions about my situation because I didn't have a clue how I could actually turn things around. Because in my mind, I thought, okay, I've got all this debt. I could go out and get a job, like an actual good paying job. And maybe if I got a job that made me, I don't know, at the time I was thinking 60,000 was a massive amount. If I got $60,000, I could live, but then I could pay off my debt, but I couldn't see how I could pay it all off. It just seemed insurmountable. But it was around that time that I really kind of dived into personal development, dived into positive thinking. And I was just, it just excited me so much, like books and audios and listening to people. It was like so exciting that you could think differently, because obviously being $100,000 in debt and on welfare, when you think about that, it's not a fun place to be. So thinking about, other things made me feel better. But then I took it to a whole new level when I discovered law of attraction. It just blew my mind, because suddenly I realized that not only could you think positively to feel better, but you could think positively and think about the things you wanted to create, and you could actually change your entire life. So for me, that was just holy macaroni. So, my life at the time, I was obviously renting, and I was always afraid that they were either going to put up the rent or they were going to kick me out because they were going to sell the house. And, I wasn't able to put a picture up on the wall, or I wasn't able to really kind of embrace the space because, it was someone else's. And so I just dreamt of having my own house, and I dreamt of having a car that didn't leak so much that every single time it rained, it grew a plant in the back, which is what my car did. It was so rusty. Just the stress of having no money. Yeah. I can't even begin to tell you, just the little things. I get it. Yeah,
it's horrible, it's the worst. And it's like, it's so like, what's the word? Like, it's crushing. So, yeah. And just like, it's entrenched, like you can't get away from it. It's everywhere you look. Everywhere you look, every decision you make, everything you do, it just all seems to stem back to money or the lack of money. It was just the worst time. And, even just little things, here in Australia, obviously we have tuck shop. I know in other countries, America, they just supply it as part of the deal. But here, your kids get tuck shop money and they can buy something from the canteen, and it's like a big deal. And I just remember having to say no all the time. And it was just heartbreaking. Just, down the street, my kids learned not to say, "Mom, can I have an ice cream?" or "Mom, can I have a packet of chips or crisps?" It was always no, because we just didn't have the money. And every now and again, when I thought of having a really super big splurge, we would buy one Domino's pizza between us and hire out a VHS movie. That was like a big deal in our house. Wow.
So yeah, not fun, not good. But as I said, I discovered personal development, and then I discovered the law of attraction. Oh my gosh, like that literally blew my mind, because it was like, instead of just thinking positively, now I could focus on all the wonderful things that I wanted to happen in my life. And instead of it just being daydreaming, instead of it being a waste of time, it was actually creating my reality. And that was so cool. So I just fell in love with thinking about how my life could be. So I'm $100,000 in debt, but I'm dreaming of being a millionaire, dreaming of traveling the world and being able to have a gym membership and go to yoga classes and buy fresh flowers and have a cleaner and all the good stuff. Yeah. And I just completely immersed myself in everything law of attraction and created a whole lot of different processes and exercises, because I'm the sort of person that gets a bit bored with doing the same thing day after day. I know that the energy, the emotion you feel is what helps you manifest, helps you create. So I just created all these different exercises and processes and things I could do that just kept me excited about being a millionaire and believing it was possible. And it happened. So from the time I discovered law of attraction, which was about 1999, I believe it was, and I became a millionaire in 2003 or 2004. So yeah, exciting stuff.
Wow, my goodness. So that's like a really short period of time, 2019 to 2003, 2004. I mean,
that's in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty quick. It didn't feel like at the time. Oh my gosh. It felt
I definitely have that.
A very long time. But the thing is, once I discovered law of attraction, I started to kind of manifest little things into my life. I recognized that, all those parking spaces I got all the years before was because I just assumed I would automatically, have a parking space. And so, whenever I went to the local shops, they always had a parking space right outside the front door. Because
oh my God, I
knew I would, but I didn't know then that it was the law of attraction. It was my thinking that was doing that. So, obviously I graduated to bigger and bigger things, but money would come in and then it would go back out again, and it would come in and it would go back out again. And it really, this is one of the things I love to teach people today, is that working on your money mindset is a lifetime habit.
Yeah.
It's like you decide to get fit. You don't go to the gym, for a month or two and look at what you're eating and be really careful and drink water and move the body and do all the things and then stop. It's a lifetime thing where you're not necessarily doing the boot camp at the start, like really getting in there and working out, but you're constantly every day making good choices and taking the actions and putting yourself in that place, so you end up staying fit. Well, it's the same with manifesting money. It's a lifetime practice, but oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
Oh my God, I love that. I've got a couple of questions already.
Okay.
And I want to talk about this boredom piece, because from a human design point of view, you're a line 3, I'm a 3-5, you're a 6-3, but I have the same thing. And it's actually one of the biggest challenges I think I have with manifesting is if I do the same thing day in, day out, by day 3 or 4, I'm like, I'm bored, can't be bothered. So what sort of strategies have you learned, discovered, implemented over the years to keep it fresh and exciting?
Well, as I said, I came up with all these different things. So obviously I've written a book, How to Be Wildly Wealthy Fast, which is packed with a lot of my strategies. So it's just really little things to keep you focused on what it is you want to create. And, it could be a vision board. It could be affirmations. It could be singing it in the shower. It could be because I put everything on my phone. Like literally it is jam-packed in the voice memos of affirmations and visualizations. And I get up in the morning, as soon as I meditate, I then take the dog, we walk along the beach at sunrise, it's so nice. And I'm listening the whole time to affirmations that uplift me, ones that I've created myself, so that are my ideal day. So I'm constantly putting myself in that place where I feel that what I'm thinking about is possible, because, obviously, yes, the law of attraction seems very kind of woo-woo and out there, but it's just part of the whole kind of grand scheme of creation. So law of attraction, the metaphysical, but then there's the neuroscience and the quantum physics. And when you marry the two together, whoa, that's so exciting.
I love that. And I love how excited you are about it, because I want to talk about it, because I remember when The Secret came out and I was like, no way. And on some level, I felt like, this is true. Like, I know that this is true. But at the time I was also, so deep in depression and panic disorder and debt and like, you name it, I was doing it in an unresourceful way. And I think one of the things over the years, it's like, okay, there's so much more than just thinking positive. So I'd love to, and you've already alluded to it, it's all about that feeling, about that frequency, about bringing the quantum physics into it. Can you kind of break it down? Like, what specifically, other than, yes, we attract things to us, but how do we get the law of attraction to work with us or for us? Like, one of the things that's so cool that you said about the parking example is that I used to always get a park out the front, right? This is a thing. And I've always known it. I've always done it. But where we live now, there's this one strip of shops, and no matter what I do, I never get a freaking spot there. And I appreciate I've just spoken my belief, but like, can you talk a little bit to what the law of attraction is? And a lot of the listeners are going to know what it already is, but it's like, how do we tweak it when the spot that should be there isn't there?
Yeah. How do we make it work all the time?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I love that. How do we make it work all the time?
How do we make it work all the time? The number one thing to understand is it's only going to work all the time if you are aligned. So most people, as you say, we all saw The Secret. When I saw, let me give you a quick story. When I first saw The Secret, I didn't see it. Like in Australia, we couldn't see the movie, couldn't buy the movie until it aired on TV. So we'd only see a 3-minute trailer. So I watched that 3-minute trailer and it was like, oh my God, that feels like what I'm doing. Like, it didn't say it was the law of attraction. It just talked about a secret. But I felt like, oh my gosh, this is so in aligned with what I do. I can just tell. And so I thought, I'm going to write to The Secret people and thank them. So I sent off an email to the website, and I just basically said, look, I think what you're doing is amazing. I think it's going to transform the world. I would love to send you a present, send you a gift. And I got an email back from Rhonda Byrne, who's a producer of The Secret. And she said, we get a lot of emails come to our website. None of them ever come to me, but yours came to me. And yes, I would love a present. So I sent her my book, How to Be Wildly Wealthy Fast, which is all about manifesting money. It's all about using the law of attraction to manifest money. And I sent her a home study course, which at the time was a binder from Officeworks with printed out pages, with CDs in plastic sleeves, like it was the old
I love it. Yep,
stuff.
I got me some of that. I got me some Tony Robbins that looks a lot like that.
Yes. So I shipped that all off to America because she was in America. And then I get an email from her saying, did you watch The Secret and then write your book? And I said, no, I haven't even seen The Secret. So she sent me the movie, and it arrived at my house, and I got everyone around and we had a secret party and we watched the movie, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And I just knew it was going to transform the world, because only so many people will read a book. Yeah. Whereas a movie, people love to sit back, just kick back, watch a movie. So I knew that it would reach so many more people. But anyway, at the time, I said to her, look, I think everyone needs to have this in Australia. She said, we can't sell it to Australia. Until it airs on TV, can't do that. I said, well, can someone in America bring it into Australia? She said, sure. And I said, well, I have a US company, and I don't even know why I had it. I think I joined some network marketing thing, and we had to set up a company. So I had a US company.
I love this.
So I said, can I do it? She said, sure. So that thought, like that idea to email her, and me having no idea about like importing, no idea about distribution, no idea about anything that I was doing, but just saying, I'll do it. That idea. Now, this is the thing to remember. I had an idea, and a lot of people have ideas, but most people don't take action. So I had an idea. I'm going to email The Secret people, not because I thought I would bring the DVD to Australia. I just thought I wanted to send them a gift. I took action. I actually did that. I actually sent them the gift. And then, that one idea alone, me bringing The Secret in without knowing how to import, without knowing how to distribute, without knowing all of that, but knowing that I would figure it out, it made me close to $3 million in less than a year.
Wow.
So this is the thing that I love to teach people. Yes, The Secret teaches you how to think and how to feel, but the thing that's missing is you've got to take action. So you've got to align body, mind, and spirit. You've got to align your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And when you do that, that's when the magic happens, when it's all in alignment. And I think the missing piece for most people is the taking action. I think they can, around on the couch, imagining the money in their lap and it's just going to appear, but it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I love that. And I definitely, I know one of the things that I'm always saying is like, just take imperfect action in the direction of your dreams. Just do it, And I think with human design, one of the challenges is that, most of us on the planet, through the frame of human design, we're designed to wait and to respond and all of these sort of things. And there's that real gray area where we have to say, no, sitting on your couch is not going to get you where you need to go. It's like, yes, it's about timing and those sort of things, but you still need to be actually taking action. So being a line 5, as I am, I love like practicality. So one of the things I would love you just to help me with is my car spot problem. So my problem is that I used to always get the right ones. Clearly, I felt like it was easy and effortless and all of those things. And now I've got myself in a bit of a hole. And I feel like I've done this even with money over the years where I'm like, yeah, I'm pissing it in. It's brilliant. And then the next moment I'm like, oh shit. How do we turn that bus around? Like, how do we start to turn that bus around?
And that's the tricky part. So I always say quite often when people first learn about the law of attraction, they have beginner's luck. So they start attracting things and manifesting things and they think, oh, this is pretty easy. This is cool. But then it kind of dries up a bit. And the moment it does that, they go into fear. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, did I lose it? Am I going to be able to do this again? And so there seems to be more kind of apprehension around manifesting what it is that you want than that easy flowing, this is all fine, this is great, this is working thing. And as you say, it happens with money as well. I see it so often that people start manifesting amazing things when it comes to money miracles, and then they might have, maybe a week, maybe a month where nothing amazing happens. And instead of just going, that's cool, I can continue doing it. It's like, what's happening? Where is it? Where's it gone? Oh my gosh, am I going to go broke? Have I lost it? Like they just go into complete panic mode, even though that's not logically what they're doing, but at an energetic level, that's what they're doing. So logically, they're like, okay, everything's okay. It's going to be all right. But at an energetic level, they are freaking out that something's gone wrong. And as soon as you do that, you start to push what you want out of your life. So it's like, let's say the parking spot. You get it all the time, everything's fine. But this one time it doesn't happen. It's like, what the, what's going on? And then the next time you go there, there's this little seed of doubt about whether it's going to happen. And that seed of doubt can be enough to kind of short circuit the manifesting process so it doesn't happen. And then the next time you go, you've not only got that first seed of doubt, but now you've got proof that it didn't work. And so like, oh my gosh. And so even though logically you might not be thinking that, energetically you can be thinking that, and that's just pushing it away from you. Same with money. So, the money's flowing in, everyone's happy, everything's good. But if it starts to in any way dry up, then you've planted that seed of doubt. And the thing is, I always say to people, when things aren't working out the way that you want, that's the time to do the happy dance. That's the time to get excited rather than think about it, mull over it, tell yourself why it might be happening, wonder why it's happening, talk to your friend about why it's happening, put a post out on Facebook why it's happening, phone your mum and discuss it. That's the time instead to, maybe unload to one person and then just get happy, do a happy dance and know that the universe has something bigger and better in store for you. So that's why this didn't occur the way that you wanted it to.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And there's this story I always tell, early days of my business where I was hustling my butt off. I had 2 young kids. I was juggling, like cleaning the house, washing the clothes, client discovery calls, studying, like you name it, I was doing it.
Doing it all.
And I was like hustling my butt off. And I remember like throwing a massive tantrum at the universe going, screw you, I'm out. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'm not doing the washing. Oscar can sleep in his bloody cot for once. Like I just threw this massive tantrum and I sat there with a cup of tea and I watched some probably reality TV, like all the things that my ego would be like, you're doing all the wrong things. And literally 3 clients signed up in that day. And I always remember going, Yeah, there's something
because
to
you
that.
let go, because you
Yeah.
let go. That's why, people feel they have to hit rock bottom before they'll bounce back up, but you don't have to get to that point to actually manifest. I remember, I've still got the piece of paper. I must dig it out. I got this piece of paper because I was really annoyed at my ex-husband because he wasn't paying me any child support and things were really bad, and I just had it. So I decided to have a conversation with the universe, but when I'm mad with the universe, I call it God. So I went, dear God.
I love it.
Dear God, I am sick of this situation. I'm sick of Mark not paying. I'm sick of everything. I want to manifest $30,000 this year. So at the time, obviously, I was not making very much. That was when I was on welfare. So $15,000 a year, thinking about where I was, $30,000 was double that. So it seemed like a massive amount. So it's like, I want $30,000, and I signed it and I put the date. And honestly, within a couple of months was when I woke up in the morning and I had an idea for a name that I went online and registered it. And then a person that I was in business with at the time, who'd asked me out of the blue to come and help her to promote a course that she was doing. Like all these little things just fell into place. And I came up with an idea for a program, which we ended up launching. That made $2 million in the space of a few months. It's like, sometimes you just have to let go and let the universe do its magic. But when you're holding on so tight to the outcome and noticing all the time that it's not there, you're not actually creating space for it to come in. You've got this, I always call it like an energetic force field around you. Or if you want to actually see something, an energetic brick wall. And if you can just knock one of those bricks out and allow a little something to come in, like even if it's, let's say you want more money, you've got this energetic force field, energetic brick wall around you, and the money might come, but it's going to hit the brick wall and just bounce straight back off. So you don't get it. You can just find a way to take one little brick out to allow a little bit to flow to you and really get excited about that flowing. Then the next thing you know, another brick comes out, another brick, and eventually the whole thing crumbles. But when you're so focused on having to have the result the way that you want it, in the way that you want it, when you want it, you're too kind of energetically caught up, and what you want can't come. You've got to relax into the moment. Get excited about what you want, think about what you want, visualize what you want, imagine it's already in your life, just feel really grateful for it, and then let it go and let the universe create its magic behind the scenes.
Oh, I love that so much. I am your classic overachieving, trying really hard human. So I get so stuck in that loop of trying really hard. And one of the things that I realized is, and I think there's so much of my audience is like this, like they want to have a big impact. They're always in a hurry, but they tend on that side of, like it's not enough. And I had this real defining moment where in my business, like I had this, I just want to make 50 grand a month. I just want to make 50 grand a month. I just want to make 50 grand a month. And it felt like ages, and it wasn't happening. Until one day, I actually looked back at my figures for the last 6 months, and I'd made 50K every month or above, like sometimes 75, sometimes 60. And it was that like real slap in the face that I'd been like totally not even celebrating how far I'd come, that I'd already hit that goal. I was so already on to the next one. So can you talk a little bit to that? Because I think that that's one of the ways that, and this is me just riffing off my own experiences. Like, I feel like this is how I get in my own way. I'm so busy being on to the next thing that I'm not actually being grateful. I mean, I'm grateful, but I'm more like, I am grateful for all the money that came in today, as opposed to really enjoying it. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit to that?
You know what? I think that's an entrepreneur thing. I mean, we're drawn to this for the excitement. It's not just because we want to help people or we want to have a business. It's also the excitement that comes with it, that like the chase and the grab and the get and the, like all that stuff.
Yeah, it's the whole adventure. Yeah,
it's the adventure. And so, like you say, I'm the same. I can be just, I've got a goal, and then I get the goal, and then before I even take a breath, I'm off focusing on the next thing. And so What I've learned to do, and I think it's so powerful, and everyone's probably already heard about it already, but a gratitude journal is just amazing. It's just a blank, journal. And every day, at the end of every day, you write down at least 5 things that you're grateful for that happened during the course of your day. And I used to find it easier to do that when I was $100,000 in debt and on welfare. It's not that I had more things to be grateful for, but I think it was the fact that, oh, this is really going to help me get the money that I want, get the success, like create a business that I love. So I was very diligent about doing it every day. But then when it came to the point where I created all the success, I was so busy. I didn't have time to write in my gratitude journal.
Yeah, I've been there.
But you got to swing back around. You got to swing back around, because what we talked about earlier, it's a lifelong practice. And it's like, you say you're going to lose weight, you lose all the weight, you're feeling good, then you feel like you can just eat whatever you want, because you know what's good and what's not. So you're not going to eat as much, but, a little bit of this here, a little bit of that there, have a drink here. And before you know it, bleh, you're a big fat blob again. So It's the same with manifesting. It's like it's too easy when things are going great and everything's happening that you can stop really being in the moment and being mindful of you're actually creating this in conjunction with the universe. You need to be grateful. You need to really drop into that feeling of acknowledging what you've done and, really like seeping it in gratitude. And even if it's only for 1 minute, closing your eyes and just acknowledging what you've done, being excited what you've done, thanking the universe for supporting you for what you've done, and really get into that place. Because when you do that consistently, then that is just lining up your energy for the next thing to be so much easier, much easier. And the other thing that I teach my members is, one of the things we love to do at the start of every single live call is share successes. And the reason I do that is not so that everyone's boasting about what they've done, but...
Well, we can't do that. We're Australian, right?
Tall
poppy syndrome and all that. Yeah.
I know. But it's really about, when you share a success, it enables everyone who's listening to see what's possible and to believe that, well, this person's just a normal everyday person like me. Well, maybe I could do that. So that's one side of it. But the other side of it, I always teach people, when you listen to anyone's success, whether it's someone you know, whether it's someone you see online, on TV, wherever you happen to watch, you want to really spend some time being so happy for them that they've created that success, so grateful that you are in the energy of being able to witness that success, and then being super grateful as if you were the one that created that success. And literally it takes only seconds, but when you're in that energy, you are just planting the seeds in your life for more amazing things to happen, for more things to happen that make you even more grateful. And too often people say, watch someone else's success or hear of it, and they go immediately into comparison mode. Oh, I'm not good enough, so they feel there's something wrong with them, or being jealous. Oh, it's not fair. I've been in the industry longer and look at what they're doing. But instead, use those moments and know that those moments have been put there by the universe for you to use to create success in your life and to manifest more of what you desire in your own life.
Oh my God, I love that so much. And you know what I love? There was just a nuance to the language that you used as well, as like, be grateful, for what I've created, for what I've done. And it was in that moment as you were speaking, I was like, yeah, wow, I kind of give all the credit to the universe. Like, I think even part of that is like just owning it, that, yep, I've had a lot to do with the success that I've created. It wasn't just
massively
that just kind of appeared because I was a good person or something like that. But
exactly. I mean, the bottom line is we are creating our own reality in every moment. So if you're creating any type of success, yes, the universe has a beautiful big part.
It's a co-creation,
the quantum field is there delivering it to you, but without you doing your part, it wouldn't have happened. So you've really got to give yourself a pat on the back.
Oh, I love that. Now I want to talk to you about something that is, so my background, because I know that you don't know anything about me. So my background is I'm a behavioral coach. I've done a lot of work around mindset, transformation, performance. Like, it was a corporate business before human design made it into my world. And I was like, oh, wow, this thing's really cool. And one of the things that is almost a little bit of an irritation for me now is what I perceive is people's almost addiction with this, their block or their blocks and their shadows and they're all of these things. Like, everyone's spending so much time on what's wrong with them, and people, I'm going to say it again, there's nothing wrong with you. They're spending all of this time trying to fix something instead of focusing on, what they want to co-create or bring into the world. I would love your thoughts, your opinion on that. Like, do you think that it's super valuable to be spending all this time on our blocks and shadow, or the way I kind of figure and the way I sort of teach it is that we're heading in the direction of our dreams or our manifestation, and then whatever is blocking us or getting in our way will show itself. Like, it'll literally in some way show itself. So that's an opportunity to deal with it or face it or whatever the case may be. But you're the expert here. I'd love you to talk to blocks and this obsession people have with them.
Yeah, totally. And so when it comes to blocks, you got to understand everyone's got something, and it's not necessarily a huge big thing blocking you from what it is that you want. It's just a little energetic sort of thing keeping you apart. The bottom line is, when it comes to blocks, is you don't have to go back through your entire childhood and try and remember everything that happened and dig it all up and go through it all and analyze it all. That's not what it's about. I'm very much the same mindset as you. It's like, focus on what it is you want to create. Focus on the things that you want to bring into your world, that you want to attract, that you want to manifest. And then if there is some resistance there, if for whatever reason something's not showing up, as you say, things begin to surface. You'll become aware of doubts that you have or things you're telling yourself. They're the blocks. They're not this huge, big, scary black thing like ready to pounce on you and pull you away from what you want. They're just thoughts, ideas that once you become aware of them, sometimes that's all you need to do to release it. It's not that hard. It's not a big deal. And just becoming aware of what you're thinking and the things you say to people. And really, it's a matter of being mindful in your life. And when you become mindful, you become aware of those conversations that you have that don't support you, the things you're watching on TV that don't support you, the things that you're reading that aren't supporting you, the time you're spending on social media that's not supporting you. You become more mindful of actually putting your energy and your focus and your attention on the things that do support you to create the life of your dreams.
I love that so much, because I really do believe that, we have to be more focused on who we're being and what we're creating than these other, things, blocks. And as you say, they're there. I'm not denying them. They're absolutely part of our conditioning, but there's just, I just feel like there's a better way through. I really love that.
And most people don't need any extra work. Most people, as you say, it's just a matter of they come up. But I used to have this kind of philosophy, and it was what I called the bulldozer method. So it was like, think about what you want, focus on what you want, talk about what you want, just put your energy there and just bulldoze your way there. And anything in the way, just let it, it's just not going to stay. It's just going to bulldoze out. And that absolutely works. That absolutely does. However, what I also found was there were certain things I couldn't bulldoze my way to. There were certain things that I realized there was a little bit of resistance. There was something that really needed to be released. And that's when you have to stop and think, well, where am I putting my energy and attention, and what's coming up for me? What am I thinking, and why isn't that happening? Now, sometimes it's as easy as I said, you just become aware and it just in that moment gets released. Sometimes it's a matter of doing a little process. There's something, there's different things you can do to help to release those things. So, the bulldozer method, absolutely works. But what I found for me was, sometimes when I bulldoze my way to something, like just putting the blinkers on and just going for it, sometimes I would achieve what it was that I wanted, but sometimes it wouldn't stay. It wasn't long term. And that's when I had to look at, okay, so I've got to that point, but what is it that's potentially making me self-sabotage or making that thing disappear again? So, blocks aren't these big, scary things. They're really just little thoughts, little ideas, things that are keeping you apart from what it is that you want. And it's just a matter of releasing it, letting it go. Sometimes just it happens naturally, and sometimes you just have to look a little bit deeper.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. So I want to talk a little bit about like intuition. So let's talk, like, when the manifesting, especially when I first came to it, it was very, write down what you want, visualize it, feel it, that sort of thing. And that's still part of it. But one of the terms that I use a lot is like, pay attention to the external clues. So how do you use your intuition for manifestation? Like, how do we know what to pay attention to? For some people, I suppose this is a double-ended question as well, so don't mind me. Like for me personally, although I'm clairvoyant, when it comes to visualizing, I find it really nowhere near as easy. It's not like something pops into my head, or I see someone's face, or something's happened, or something like that. It's like when I actually try to visualize something, I feel like I'm sitting there with a screwed up concentration face trying to see something. I find that hard. So how do we use our intuition to manifest, and not just our head?
Yeah, I love that. So kind of there's two parts to that. Let me touch on the visualization part first. So yes, visualization is closing your eyes and seeing the scene, whatever it is you want to manifest and create, seeing that beautiful scene and putting yourself in the picture and really feeling it. Now, some people can do that, and good luck to them, but I'm not one of them. Yeah. But I love visualization. Like, visualization is one of my favorite tools. But when I close my eyes, like if I said right now with my eyes open, think of a rose. I could think of a rose. Now, I'm not seeing a picture in front of me of a rose, but in my mind's eye somewhere, there's that idea of the rose. Now, when I close my eyes, that's the same thing I see. I don't see anything. Like, it's just that idea of something. So visualization in and of itself, whether you can see the 3D movie or whether you just get the idea of what it is without actually seeing anything, doesn't matter. It's the closing of the eyes and the blocking out the external stimuli, which allows you to then create more of an emotion, and the emotion is what helps you to attract. So that's why visualization, closing your eyes, is so powerful. So that's the first part. Now, the second part, the intuition. So I don't consider myself to be any type of like nothing amazing like you. Like, I'm just, and even intuition wise, I don't consider myself really tapped in. However, what I do consider myself to be is really clever on actually communicating with the universe in a way that is probably different to most people and really powerful. So I like to tell people, you're you, this little you on the planet, and way out there in the universe is the universe. And between the universe and you is this pipe, okay? You and the universe is a pipe. And down that pipe comes ideas and insights and thoughts and, guidance from the universe. But what happens is, because of life, that pipe gets kind of kinked and gets full of gunk, and the signal that's coming down the pipe is just not going anywhere. It's just getting stuck. It's like static. You've got an idea, you're trying to, is this right for me? Is this not right for me? And nothing's coming through. It's like, I don't know. So the thing that I have discovered is the way to clean that pipe. I consider meditation to be the pipe cleaner.
Yeah.
And I know some people are all for meditation, some aren't, some think it's just to relax, but honestly, I think meditation is like a manifesting miracle. I think meditation really amps up your manifesting because it cleans the pipe between you and the universe. And so ideas can flow so much easier. Thoughts about what to do can flow so much easier. Like, everything just flows so much easier between the universe and you when that pipe is clean. So as I said, I think I don't necessarily like close my eyes and get guidance like that. It's never a on order thing. I can't go, I would like to order up some guidance now, please. Please give me a message. Please give me a sign. Doesn't work like that for me.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm just going about my business and an idea pops into my head, like the time I woke up with the name Wealthy Women in my head, because I'd been going to bed saying, bring me $1 million idea. So every night I just say, bring me $1 million idea. I got that idea from Mark Victor Hansen, who was co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books.
I love those books.
You know, I used to go to his events all the time, and I remember him saying that. So I would go to bed, bring me $1 million idea. And I woke up with the name Wealthy Women in my head, went online, registered the domain name, and then didn't do anything with it, just registered it. So I took action. See, again, it's the taking action. Took action, and then a few months later, I told the girl that I was working with at the time, I've got this idea, what do you think? And launched that business, and $2 million in less than a few months, simply because I had, and at that time I was meditating all the time. Like I was meditating on a daily basis, and I think at that time it was probably half an hour a day. Now I'm down to about 11 minutes and 11 seconds. That's what I meditate for.
Oh, I love that.
I've got it on my timer. So the last thing I see before I close my eyes in the morning when I do my meditation is 11:11. Thank you very much. And then
I love that.
Yeah.
And I totally resonate. A large part of my story, once I got diagnosed with depression and panic disorder and told that I was going to have to live that way for the rest of my life. And I was like, nope, that's not an option. The two things I instantly started doing was actually gratitude and meditating. And I think for so many years when it came to manifestation, I was like, oh, wow. So I have to do these visualization meditations. I have to be doing something in my meditation. And I love the pipe cleaner analogy, because what I actually discovered, and again, I'd love your opinion on this, is that it wasn't so much about the guided visualization or the that's good too, but having that meditation practice that just got me to experience the gaps, whether it was the gap between my breath or the gap between my thoughts or the slowing down of the body and the mind, because that was actually the practice that I was building so I could hear, see, feel whatever else was coming in. And I think that that's almost a bit of a misnomer, because when we go to manifestation, if you put manifestation, meditation, and insight timer, they're all guided, they're all this, they're all that.
That's not true meditation. They're visualizations. Whereas meditation, like you said, it's that gap. It's that, and sometimes you might close your eyes and for 11 minutes and 11 seconds, all I'm doing is thinking with my eyes closed. I get that. But then sometimes there is that gap, and that gap is like the defragging of your entire body, mind, and spirit. It's not just a defragging of your thoughts. It's just this total defrag. And in that gap is where you open the space for the universe to connect. And the thought or idea might not come in that moment, but it might come the next hour, it might come tomorrow, it might come next week, might come next month. But you've opened that space for the universe to actually be able to connect with you. And when you're doing guided visualizations, which are not actually meditations, even though, as you say, they call them meditations, you're not getting the same benefit. It's a beautiful benefit. You get to, be taken down this path and see a beautiful sea and sky and whatever it is you see. But it's not the same as just totally just nothing, like focusing, as you say, on your breathing, focusing maybe even on a mantra, focusing on I like to focus sometimes just on the breath going in and out of my nose. Or sometimes I just like to imagine that I'm looking forward, but there's nothing but black. And there's no sound, there's no nothing, it's just black. And so just going into that no place sort of thing. So it's really just a matter of do whatever you can on a consistent basis. Because again, going back to the exercise, it's that consistency that will really take you to where you want to go.
Yeah, I love that so much. Okay, so before I let you go and before I get you to share where everyone can find you, what would be your top 3, maybe actions, but what are your top 3 things for people to manifest more money? What are the most important 3 things? Okay.
First thing would be to get really clear on what you want. 2 people say, I want more money. It's like, well, you're going to walk down the street and find 5 cents on the footpath. That's more money, but it's probably not what you want. So get really clear on what it is that you want. Write it all out, the house, the car, the being able to help others, whatever it is that you want, write it all out and get really clear. The second thing is commit. So too many people dabble They just, they give it a go and it didn't work after a week and throw it in. That's the metaphysical processes, but that's also practical stuff for building a business. Like, people are just dabblers. It's like, get in there and commit totally. And then I would say, find yourself a mentor, find yourself someone that has created the success that you want and align with them, whether it's just listening to their podcast or whether it's reading their book or whether it's going on their free webinar, or if you've got the money, maybe it's going to their seminar or taking part in their mastermind, like whatever level you can. Once you find someone you align with, really dive in, because honestly, there is nothing like aligning with someone who's already created the success that you want, because it will totally shortcut time, energy, tears, everything. It will just get you to where you want to go faster. And then I think I want to give you a fourth tip: apply what you learn. Apply, because you can learn till the cows come home. You can know it all. Your brain can be exploding with knowledge, but unless you're actually applying it, you're not going to see the results. So, and that all comes back to aligning body, mind, and spirit, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And when you're doing all of that, that's when the magic can happen.
Oh my God, I love it. I love all of them, but I just have to give the two of them a special shout out. Commitment. Like, this is the thing that I feel so many people don't do. And I'm sure you've read this book. One of my favorite stories in The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn is, the story where she has the client, and this client's had all this bad luck because 7 years ago she walked under a ladder and all of this stuff. And Florence says, well, you just have to go out and walk under a ladder. And she says, no, that's what I want to avoid. And Florence is like, no, you need to show the universe that you're no longer affected by that. You don't fear that. And so this client goes out and she walks down the street, and sure enough, there's a ladder, and she goes to walk under it and turns around and goes back around the corner. Like, no, I can't do it. But in that space, she goes, okay, no, I've got to do this. And she actually commits, not says she's committed. Yeah. She actually energetically commits. And she goes back around the corner, and sure enough, the ladder's gone, because it's that whole, like, the thing that we fear is actually there to get us to commit. And then the moment we commit, that thing usually just disappears. So I love that piece. And the applying piece. I had someone say to me recently, she's like, I am done learning. So unless you can teach me how to embody this, I'm not interested, because we live in this time where we're all just gathering information. We're just, we've like so much in our heads, but it's that apply piece. It's that actually physically doing it. That's how you get results, not just thinking about it.
Well, in that book, The Science of Getting Rich, written back in 1910, decades ago, and I mean, very old language, but there's one sentence in there that I just love. And that's when he says, by thought, the thing you desire is brought to you, but by action, you receive it. Ooh. So it's the thinking allows it to be created in the metaphysical. So it's brought to you, but it's still in the metaphysical. So by thought, the thing you desire is brought to you, but by action, so taking action, you receive it. That's when it changes from the metaphysical into the physical.
Oh, I love that. Oh my God, Sandy, I could talk to you all day. So can you share with my beautiful listeners where they can find you, please?
Sure. So they can find me, probably best place at the moment is at my website, wildlywealthy.com. But I would love to give all your listeners a little kind of money manifesting boost. I've got some audios, guided visualizations, some affirmations, some things that might really help them. They can get them at wildlywealthyfree.com.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to go and get all of them and put them on my phone and listen to them the whole time. Oh my God, I love it. Thank you so much for joining me, Sandy. And
my pleasure, Emma.
Considering you're so close, I might hit you up and shout you a coffee when I'm up your way sometime.
Yeah, we can have a juice down by the beach.
Yeah, sounds great. Sounds awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for listening. I trust that you got what you wanted from today's episode. And thank you so much for being here. I look forward to having you on the next one. Bye for now.
Thanks everyone for being here all the way to the end of the podcast. I hope you got lots of value out of it. I certainly had a lot of fun doing it. Could I please ask that you share this podcast with friends if you found it valuable? And also, bonus points, Could you leave a review for me as well on Apple? It would be greatly appreciated. If at any point you would like to be on the podcast, or you've got questions that you'd like me to discuss on the podcast, by all means get on my socials and DM me. Everything you need is there in the show notes. Have an awesome day. Bye for now.